Hello everyone, my name is Kaite and today I'm going to show you how to crochet the shoulder bag. I do have a video on the bucket hat using the same pattern and I'll link it right over here. You can check it out. We're going to start by working on the Sunburst squares first, and then we'll sew them together, and then we'll add the height and the strap. And then I made mine into a drawstring bag, but you can leave yours without. It's up to you. It is an easy pattern and I hope you try making it. This bag is measuring at 10 inches by 11 inches. For this project, I'll be using number 4 medium weight yarn. It is 100% acrylic. You don't have to use acrylic yarn. You can use cotton yarn. And you're also going to need a 5mm crochet hook. For round 1, I'll be using yellow. And we need to start with the magic ring. If you're having a hard time with your magic ring, you can go ahead and slip knot, chain 5, and slip stitch into the first chain to create a ring that way. But to work on your magic ring, hold on to the yarn tail with your thumb, wrap the yarn around your 2 fingers, crisscross it in the front, hold on to the working yarn with your index finger, bring your hook underneath the first circle, and using the working yarn, bring up a loop. And now go ahead and chain 1 and chain 1 more. This chain 2 doesn't stand as a stitch, and into this magic ring we need to work a total of 24 double crochets. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's hard for you to hold on to the magic ring, you can pull on this yarn tail a little bit, just tiny amount, and then it's easier for you to hold on to your work as you work on your double crochets. So continue working on your double crochets for round 1. You need a total of 24. At the end of round 2, this is how it looks like, and we worked a total of 24 double crochets. This chain 2 doesn't stand as a stitch, so we don't count it. And you can go ahead and pull on this yarn tail to tighten the center. For round 2, we need to change the color, and we're going to slip stitch using the first double crochet stitch right over here, not the chain 2, but the first double crochet stitch. Go ahead and insert your hook using that stitch. Bring your new color, wrap it around the hook. I'm using baby pink, and pull through this loop. Hold on to the yarn tail and also to the yellow or the first color you were using, tighten it, and now we're ready for round 2. For round 2, we need to work 3 double crochet cluster, and in the beginning we're going to work a little bit differently. We're going to start by chaining 2, and right over here, this first double crochet stitch where we slip stitched into, we're going to go ahead and start working on our double crochet. So go ahead and start working on your double crochet. I'm also picking up the loops, the yarn tail and the yellow color. Wrap your hook around the yarn, pull through. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through only 2 loops. Leave the last 2 loops on your hook. And let's work on that one more time. You're going to start working on your double crochet, but you're only going to pull through and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So right over here we have 3 loops on our hook. Now we can go ahead and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So right over here we just worked on our first double crochet cluster, but it's a little bit different. Let's go ahead and chain 2. And now we're going to skip 1 stitch. So go ahead and skip the next double crochet stitch. And into the following stitch, let's go ahead and work 3 double crochet cluster. And to do that, I'm once again going to bring in my yarn tails. You don't have to do that. You can go ahead and cut the yarn tails here. And we're going to start by working our double crochet. So go ahead and skip this stitch, and into the following stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through only 2 loops. Leave this 2 on the hook. Let's repeat that 2 more times. So we're going to go ahead and start working on our double crochet. Now yarn over and only pull through 2 loops. We have 3 loops on our hook. We need to work same thing one more time. So right here we're starting on our double crochet, yarn over and pull through only 2 loops. And now we have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Chain 2, I'm actually going to go ahead and cut this yarn tails really quickly so they're out of the way. And let's repeat that again. Skip this next stitch, and into the following stitch let's work a 3 double crochet cluster. We're going to start working on our double crochet, yarn over, pull through. Here we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through only 2 loops, leave the last 2 on your hook, and repeat that 2 more times. Yarn over, pull through. You have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and only pull through 2 loops. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. Let's go ahead and repeat that one more time. Go into that stitch, yarn over, pull through. Here we have 5 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through only 2 loops. And now that we have 4 loops on our hook, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Chain 2, and we're going to repeat that. Skip the next stitch, and into the following stitch work 3 double crochet cluster. So right here we're going to work our first double crochet, don't finish it. Again, work your next double crochet using that same stitch, yarn over, pull through only 2 loops, don't finish it, and one more time go into that same stitch and work on your next double crochet, but don't finish it. Just yarn over and pull through only 2 loops. We have 4 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Chain 2, skip the next stitch, and into the following stitch work a 3 double crochet cluster. 1, 2, and 3. Once you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. You're going to continue and work around same way, and you need a total of 12 of these 3 double crochet clusters. I'm coming to the end of round 2, and right over here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 clusters worked. I need to work one more. I went ahead and I chained 2, and I have 3 stitches left. I'm going to skip this stitch, and into the following stitch work your last cluster, the 3 double crochet cluster. So that was 1, 2, and 3. And now we have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to go ahead and pull through all 4 loops. And now let's go ahead and chain 2. And to end this round, skip this chain 2 right over here, and into this stitch right here we're going to slip stitch. And this ends round 2, and this is how it looks like. For round 3, we're going to change the color, and we're also going to make this into a square. And to do that, we're going to go ahead and insert our hook using that chain 2 space. And I'm actually going to change my color now. So I'm going to bring in my purple and pull through this loop right here. Hold on to the yarn tail, so the purple and the pink, tighten the pink a little bit. And now we get to start working on our square. So now we're going to chain 3. This chain 3 stands as the first double crochet. Back into that same chain 2 space, work 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. With the chain 3, we have a total of 3 double crochets. Chain 2. Go back into that same chain 2 space and work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And right over here we just worked on our first corner. Let's go ahead and cut this yarn tails. We don't need them. And now let's move on. So right over here into the next chain 2 space, so you're skipping this cluster, and into the chain 2 space work 3 double crochets only. 1, 2, and 3. If you want your square to be a little bit larger, you can go ahead and chain 1 in between these 3 double crochets, but I'm going to keep mine without. Into the next chain 2 space, let's work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And now we need to work our next corner using the next chain 2 space. And to work a corner, we're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. Go back into that same chain 2 space and work 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Right over here we finished on our second corner. Let's continue. We're going to repeat that pattern. So into the next chain 2 space, work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Into the next chain 2 space, work 3 double crochets. So in between the corners we're working 2 sets of 3 double crochets. 2 and 3. And now let's go ahead and work a corner using the next chain 2 space. And to work a corner we need 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2 and work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. 1, 2, and 3. So right over here we just finished working on our third corner and we need one more. So go ahead and work 3 double crochets into this chain 2 space, 3 double crochets into this chain 2 space, and into the following chain 2 space work your corner, and then repeat this again, and then I'll meet you at the end to show you how to finish this round. We finished working on round 3 and this is how it looks like. So we have our 4 corners and in between we have 2 sets of 3 double crochets. And to end this round we're going to go ahead and slip stitch using the top of the third chain from the beginning of the round. So count from the bottom, 1, 2, 3. Using that chain, pick up both loops and slip stitch to end round 3. For round 4 we're going to repeat round 3. We need to get to the chain 2 space and change our color. So we're going to go ahead and slip stitch and slip stitch. And right over here into this chain 2, we're going to insert our hook, drop the purple color and bring in our next color. My main color is turquoise. So right over here, wrap the yarn around the hook and pull through this loop. Hold on to the yarn tail and the purple color. And now we're going to go ahead and start by chaining 3. This chain 3 stands as the first double crochet. And back into the same chain 2 space, work 2 double crochets. So we're starting with the corner again. 1 and 2. I am holding on to the yarn tails to work them in. So right here we have 3 double crochets, chain 2, and work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. 1, 2, and 3. You can go ahead and cut this yarn tails. Next we're going to go ahead and skip these 3 double crochets, and right over here you'll see the space. And into that space between the 3 double crochets we need to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Let's go ahead and repeat this until we get to the chain 2 space. So right here we have our next space, work 3 double crochets into that space. And one more time into this space, work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And now let's go ahead and work a corner using this chain 2 space. And to work a corner we need 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2 and work 3 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. 2 and 3. And this is how it looks like. So we have our corner, then we have 1, 2, 3 sets of 3 double crochets, and then we have our second corner. And that's all it is to this pattern. You're just going to work 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and then into the chain 2 space work your corner and repeat this around, and then I'll meet you at the end of this round. At the end of round 4, this is how it looks like. And to end the round, we're going to go ahead and slip stitch using the top of the third chain, same as before. And for this one, you want to leave a long yarn tail. And I left about, so go ahead and chain one, and I think mine is about 80 inches long because we're going to use this to sew the squares together. We just finished working on this one and we have the long yarn tail to sew. You're going to need another 4, so total of 5 squares. And like I said, for this one, we're going to use this yarn tail to sew this together. And then once we're done sewing this together, we're going to come on this side and sew the sides together using whip stitch. So go ahead and work on 4 more squares and then we'll continue. And for the other ones, you don't need a long yarn tail. You can just leave it short like this. Let's go ahead and work on the yarn tail, and we have one in the middle, and then this one, just leave it alone for now. We're not going to work on it yet. And tighten the center, and using the back loops of the double crochets from round 1, pick up as many as you can and pull through using your needle, tighten it, and come back, dropping 1 loop. Pick up as many loops as you can. Pull through, might be a little bit tight, and let's repeat that one more time. Drop 1 loop, and you're going to come back, pick up as many loops as you can, pull through, and now you're done. You can go ahead and cut the yarn tail and repeat the same thing to the other 4 squares. I forgot to mention that my squares are measuring at 5.5 inches. Let's go ahead and sew them together. So we have the center one with the long yarn tail, and then we have 4 on the sides. And I left the yarn tails facing down. So these yarn tails are facing down away from the square, the center square. And we're going to whip stitch them together. And to start, choose any, doesn't matter. I'm just choosing the one in the middle with the long yarn tail. And let's start with this one. We're going to face the squares right sides together. Before we start sewing the squares together, we need to bring this yarn tail towards the chain 2. So let's just pick up the stitches right here and just bring in our yarn towards that chain 2 space to even out the squares. And one more time, come back using the following stitch. And right now we're at the chain 2 area. So once again, we're going to use the 2 squares right sides together. So right over here where the corner is, where we have the long yarn tail, we're going to start at the second chain, not the first one. So here's the first chain and here's the second. We're going to pick up the second chain from both of the squares. So come underneath this one, pick up the chain, and do the same thing with this one. So we have 4 loops. You're going to bring your needle towards you and whip stitch. And now we're going to use the double crochet stitches. So again, go underneath, pick up that stitch, and pick up the stitch that's closest to you, and then bring the needle towards you and whip stitch. Now again, go underneath, pick up the stitch, and pick up the stitch that's closest to you. So we have 4 loops. Bring the needle towards you and whip stitch. And if you can do it faster, you can go ahead and do that. And now again, so you're going to come around. So using your needle, you're going to pick up the following stitch, pick up both loops, and then the stitch that's closest to you, and bring your needle towards you and whip stitch. And again, so you're aligning your double crochets, go underneath, pick up the stitch, pick up the stitch. So I'm picking up the stitches from the back, away from me, and the needle coming towards me. And then you're going to whip stitch. And then again, away from you, pick it up, pick up the stitch closest to you, and then bring the needle towards you and whip stitch. And you're going to continue like this all along the side right here, and then I'll meet you once we're at the chain 2 space. We're coming to the end, and I have the last double crochet stitches left, just pick up the stitches and go ahead and whip stitch them together. And now we're at the chain 2 space, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick up the first chain from the back, and then the first chain from the front square, and then whip stitch. And we just finished whip stitching these 2 squares together. This is how it looks like on the back, and then this is the front, or the right side. And now we're going to continue. So right over here we just finished, and we need to attach the next square. So once again, my yarn tail is towards the bottom right here on the side, away from the middle square, and then we're just going to continue. So now make sure this is the wrong side, place them together, move this way, and now picking up this chain 2, we're going to go ahead, come underneath, picking up the chain that's closest to the double crochet stitch right over here, and whip stitch. Place them together, align them, and remember, you're not sewing the square to the one with the yarn tail. You're using the middle square. And now, once our squares are aligned, let's continue. You're going to pick up the double crochet stitch from the back, and then the double crochet stitch from the front right over here, and whip stitch, same as before. Then the next one, and like that, you're just going to continue and whip stitch these 2 squares together. You're going to continue and whip stitch this together, and then I'll meet you at the chain 2 to show you how to continue. I'm coming to the chain 2, so right over here pick up this chain and then the chain that's closest to us. So we're only picking up 1 chain from each, and whip stitch. Now let's take a look. So far we have our center, and then we have these 2 attached. And we're going to go ahead and repeat the same thing to this one, and then same thing to this one. So we're going to go ahead and continue sewing all along this way, and then coming around this way, and then I'll meet you back. We sewed the center together, and now we need to work on the sides, and we're going to sew them next. Now this is the wrong side facing us. We're going to go ahead and fold these together, and then we need to align the stitches. I'm still using the yarn from the top, but if you need to change the yarn, you can go ahead and leave a long yarn tail, then weave it in, and then start that way. And now right over here, we're at the chain 2. So we have the chain 1 that we picked up, and then the second chain is right over here. And same thing on this square right here. We're going to go ahead and align them together, and using this chain 1 that we picked up and then the chain 1 here, go ahead and work a whip stitch again just to reinforce it, and then the second chain, pick it up from the back and then pick it up from the front. So we worked a whip stitch using the first chain and then the second chain, and now we're at the double crochet stitches, and we're going to pick them up and whip stitch. And just repeat this until the end. Same as before, so you're just picking up the stitches and you're whip stitching them together. Continue working like this, and then I'll meet you at the end right over here where the chain 2 is. I'm going ahead and I whip stitch these 2 sides together, and I'm at the chain 2, pick up the first chain from both of the squares, whip stitch, and now pick up the second chain from both of the squares and whip stitch, and go ahead and do it one more time using the same second chain from both of the squares. And whip stitch, and we are done. So this is how it looks like right over here. And now to hide this yarn tail, we're just going to go ahead and use the area right over here where we whip stitch, and then you're just going to bring up the loops. So pick up the loops and pull through, and then come back. You can cut your yarn tail now, or you can do it one more time. I'm just picking up the back loops only. And cut your yarn. And you're going to repeat the same thing with the rest of the square. So you're going to go ahead and sew these together, and this together. And then we'll move on. We finished sewing the base, and this is how it looks like. Let's go ahead and start working on the height. I turned my work right side out, and we're going to start at any of this chain spaces right here. So here's the seam, and right over here, using this chain space, go ahead and insert your hook and wrap your yarn around the hook and pull through, and chain 3. This chain 3 stands as the first double crochet. Back into the same space, work 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. So with this chain 3, we have a total of 3 double crochets worked into that chain space. And we're just going to repeat this. So into the next space right over here, you're going to skip these double crochets, and into this space, go ahead and work 3 double crochets. And I am holding on to the yarn tail to work it in. 1, 2, and 3. Let's repeat this again. Into the next space, go ahead and work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And I'll cut this yarn tail later. And we're going to repeat this. Into the next space, work 3 double crochets. And into this space right here, work 3 double crochets. And right over here, I have another yarn tail. I'm just going to work it in. So right over here, we're at the chain space. And once again, into this chain space, work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Skip this stitch right over here, and you're going to find your next chain space, and into that chain space, work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And once again, this yarn tail I'll cut later, but let's go ahead and count what we have so far. So not including this 3 double crochets that we worked on, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of 3 double crochets. And we're going to repeat this. So right here, we just started working on the first set, and find the space between the double crochets and work 3 double crochets using that space. You're going to continue and work like this all around, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. We'll move on together. We finished working on round 1, and for round 2, we're going to repeat round 1, but we're going to change the color. You don't have to change the color, you can stick with the same color, but I'm going to use yellow. So I'm going to use yellow, pink, purple, and then back to turquoise. And for round 2, the way we change the color is we're going to slip stitch using the top of the 3rd stitch. So slip stitch, but instead of picking up this color, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the yellow color around the hook and pull through, holding on to the yarn tails and this color too. I'm going to start by chaining 3, 1, 2, 3, and back into the same space, we're going to work 2 double crochets. And remember, the chain 3 stands as the first double crochet. So with the chain 3, we worked a total of 3 double crochets using that space. And now we're just going to repeat. So into this space right here, work 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3, and I will cut this yarn later. And right here we're just going to repeat. So into this space, go ahead and work 3 double crochets, and you're going to continue like this all around for this round, and then you're going to repeat the same thing with the pink color, the purple, or whatever color you're going to be using. And then I'll meet you back once I'm done working on this round, and then round 3, 4, and 5. I finished working a total of 5 rounds on the height, and I'm going to stop here. You can add more rounds if you want to, but here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. And we're going to end the round same exact way by slip stitching using the top of the 3rd chain from the beginning of the round. And now we get to fasten off, so chain 1 and cut your yarn. And you can work on your yarn tail same way as I showed you. Next, let's go ahead and work on the strap, and we need to find the sides of the bag. So I have this square right over here and then the 2 on the side. So go ahead and fold yours the same way. It's just easier to see the sides. And right over here is where we finished. We're going to count starting from this sets of 3 double crochets. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And after the 12th set, go ahead and add a stitch marker. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And after the 12th set, go ahead and add another stitch marker. It's just easier this way. You don't have to do this, but I added on mine. And let's go ahead and crochet the strap. Here's our stitch marker, and we're going to come to this side right here. We're going to count 2 stitches over. So here's 1 and 2. So right over here, go ahead and insert your hook, and you're going to wrap the yarn around the hook and pull through, and chain 1 back into the same stitch. Go ahead and work 1 single crochet, and into the next stitch work 1 single crochet. So far we worked 2 single crochets, and now you can remove your stitch marker, and we're going to repeat the same thing. So right over here we need to work 1 single crochet and work 1 more single crochet using the following stitch. So far we worked 4 single crochets, and for row 2 we're going to start by chaining 1, turn your work, and using these 4 single crochets from the previous row, we're just going to work single crochets. So right here we're going to pick up the first stitch and work a single crochet, and then repeat the same thing, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're just going to repeat row 2. Chain 1, turn your work, and work 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1, turn your work, and work 4 single crochets. You're going to continue and work like this, and I'm going to continue and work on mine, and I'll let you know how many rows I work on total. I finished working on the strap, and I worked a total of 71 rows, and it is measuring at 21 inches. If you want a different size, you can work less or more rows, and you can also add single crochets here on this side and on this side if you like to. I'm going to keep mine like this, and let's go ahead and finish this by chaining 1 and cut a long yarn tail for sewing. I turned my work inside out, and right over here at this side, without twisting the strap, go ahead and bring it on this side. And right over here we have our stitch marker, and once again we're going to place it 2 stitches over. So here's 1 double crochet and 2nd double crochet. Start here, place it next to that stitch, and I'm going to whip stitches. So come around and pick up this stitch right here and come back to this single crochet and whip stitch. And I'm actually going to come back one more time and work another whip stitch using that same stitches, and then just continue on. I'm going to remove this, and you can also slip stitch the strap to the bag if you like to. You don't have to sew. And right over here, I'm coming to the end. Once again, pick up the following stitch and then the same stitch from the strap. So the following stitch and the same stitch from the strap. And go ahead and work one and one more whip stitch. And now right over here is the loop. Go ahead and insert your needle and tighten it. Now we can weave this yarn tail back and forth using the back loops. Come back. And you can do it one more time, but I'm going to stop here. And now you can turn your work and our strap is attached. You can leave your bag like this or add drawstrings. And to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and use 2 strands of yarn and just chain. I'm going to continue chaining until I feel like it's long enough. And I will let you know how many chains I work on total. I worked a total of 115 chains. You can work more if you like to. And right over here, using our bag, we're going to start with the center of the flower. And I'm just going to go ahead and weave this back and forth like this. So I'm going inside and then coming back out using the last row. And then just continuing. So going back in, skipping the 3 double crochets, and I'm just going to continue like this all around, and then I'll meet you back. Right over here, we finished adding the drawstring, and this is how it looks like. So you can tighten it or open it up, and then for the ends, you can go ahead and weave them in or add beads or pom-poms or tassels or charms, whatever it is you like. I don't know what I'm going to do with mine. I'm just going to leave mine like this for now, but this is it to the bag. And we are all finished. And here's our finished bag. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.